G'day guys, it's Jose. Welcome to Chilltime, the CSGO edition, the CSGO show with all to know. And it's been quite an interesting week. A lot more teams, succumbing to the Valorant as they do switch over to Valorant over our CSGO. There's also been, I think it was Juices and Grooster's gone to Valorant, and there's been a lot more as well. And North predictions. Well, not yet. Well, North is probably going to lose that given they lost to the Flames, so not terribly too sure. That's going to be the Elisa Invitational, I believe. So, yeah, we got a few things. Today. So we're talking about Valorant. Like, basically, Valorant has killed off a few teams. Like, August, for example, definitely killed them. There's a few players have been poached to go to Valorant. And, let's get to our first story, which is going to be the first of many of the Valorant stories. So first off, we're going to go with Oscar Lee Sprout. So if you guys don't know, Oscar, well, he left Sprout, and he left Sprout to pursue a career in Valorant, okay? And Sprout, basically unbridgeable differences, didn't see eye to eye either, and basically Oscar and Sprout detached, and they're no longer together. And it's rumored that Oscar wants to pursue a career in Valorant, which is kind of interesting. Okay. Cool. But anyway, so that's what happened pretty much. And yeah, so basically Sprout losing the AWPer and Oscar was pretty decent with Sprout, so it was actually kind of strange to see this come across that that Oscar wasn't happy at Sprout, because it looked like they were playing incredibly well together, and it just looks incredibly odd. Like, I was actually a bit shocked. I was like, ooh, Oscar left? Like, what's going on? There's been a lot of shocking turn of events this week, actually, talking about that. So, Oscar leaves Sprout. So, basically, I don't think it was a turbulent time for Sprout. Like, HLTV act like, Sprout were basically not playing well, I don't think Oscar's trash. Oscar's a pretty decent AWPer. I just don't think it was really turbulent for Sprout at all. Like, they lost the complexity in the Flames. Like, it's probably expected. The Flames have been playing very well, and Complexity have a pretty decent team. It's not like Sprout are losing games, like, to, let's say, for example, losing games to, like, Demolition Crew or some shit like that. They are probably where they should be. They're not overachieving, not underachieving. So I don't understand this part of the article, but I do know that they have unbridgeable differences. Obviously, the German org trying to translate it to English. And, that's what's happened effectively. So what's happened after that is they've picked up Snatchy. And I'm going to say this is a big pickup for Sprout to pick up Snatchy. They replaced Oscar with another great AWPer as well in Snatchy. And he was definitely one of the guys in the Virtus Pro lineup. That was definitely, one of the guys you should have picked up. And Snatchy the AWPer being a massive, massive pickup. And, in that Virtus Pro team before they died, basically, Snatchy was, to play again the 3 to 4 kills. He was, winning rounds off his own back effectively. And, that's good to see that, Sprout pick up Snatchy right away. Probably on the recommendation of Dha, given that Dha is his teammate, was his teammate previously. And Snatchy highlighted Dha as one of the most, the 100% underachieving with the experience on the roster. I don't think they are. I think they're probably exactly where they are with that roster, to be honest. Like, I don't think they should be, like, literally, like, being the biggest team and, of the major. Like, maybe even losing to the Flames might be underachieving, but losing to Complexity is not underachieving, given that Complexity do have a lot of experience on their roster as well. As you can see, I got the Coca-Cola out today. So, so Sprout, they got Snatchy, Dha, Faven, Speedy, and Dennis. And I reckon this will be a very good lineup. You got Dha and Snatchy. And it's very, very interesting. Someone actually pointed this one out as well. That, it's becoming like the German national team in football, okay? The Poles always joining the Germans. So it's actually becoming a really, really humorous, because someone actually mentioned that. Someone was like, hey, this is becoming more like, the German national team in football, where they recruit all the Polish players into the German team. And there was a bit of joke saying that will Sprout become a Polish org. But, that's a big, big pickup, with Snatchy. Everyone was suspecting Smooya to be picked up, because they had a little mini reveal that they had a SN or SM, and people were thinking of picking up Smooya, which would be a massive coup as well, because Smooya is a quality AWPer as well. But I'm sitting there going like why would Smooya join Sprout? Like, has he really got it in for big that he would join their opposing org in trying to take Big down? But I didn't think he would. And I think Smooya, I think a lot of teams know about Smooya, and they're not going to add him to the team. Like, for example, Endpoint in the MDL now, they're not adding Smooya, and a lot of teams, just actively avoiding Smooya, and it's just simply put that Smooya's really killed his own career with what he's done, unfortunately. And hopefully, Smooya can, just prove himself on a lower team that, he's beyond that, and he's ready to put the hard yards in. And as next up we got was going to go get this one. This one was an interesting affair. It was during the ESL 1 Road to Rio, and something that I love to see is basically what happened. If you guys don't know, that Mouse Sports lost 2-0 to Movistar Riders, which is probably the biggest upset in that tournament so far. The Riders are an MDL team, mid-tier MDL team at that, and they take down one of the top 10 teams in a 2-0. And, they're being led by Steel. And it's actually, a good thing that Steel said, beating Mouse Sports really opened the eyes of my players and allowed them to understand how good they are. And, he actually brings up a very, very, very good point with Steel here. He brings that up because a lot of players don't realize that they can beat these top players and they give them way too much respect. So, where is it? I'm trying to find it. Yeah, they basically end up in the top 30 here as well. And their results are pretty poor. Like, Movistar Riders didn't get very far in the playoffs that season either. And, basically, he would have been super happy with that there. Like, see, that Mouse Sports played the exact same way that we had in the demos. So basically, they did all their practice. And, it was really good to see that, Movistar Riders winning that 2-0 against Mouse Sports. And, still saying something like that. A lot of players in these, semi-pro teams in MDL, even pro teams in MDL, they like, going, okay, we're down here because we're bad. And they don't realize that how good some of those players actually are down there. And they can really take it on to the big players and the big teams. And I love, seeing the sort of can-do attitude as well with Steel. Like, Steel, he's probably the IGL, of course. He is the IGL of Movistar Riders. And he's probably telling his players, take that peak, take that aggression, because you can probably beat them 9 times out of 10. And taking down, a team like Mouse Sports, you have, Woxic, Carrigan, very good IGLs, absolutely massive for Steel. But then again, Mouse Sports have been struggling in general, actually. Like, after that, I think they lost another series 2-1. And I think, it might be Mouse Sports struggling more than the Riders, playing up to their level. But, that's more to see as well. There's more to see of that tournament. Now, next up, we're going to talk about Fnatic becoming number 1 again. So, basically, Fnatic become number 1. They won a few tournaments. They beat Astralis 2-1 as well. And, well, Na'Vi couldn't keep number 1 spot. And Astralis, for the first time in a while, has gone to number 3 spot, which is incredible. So Fnatic are number 1 once again. I've got to say, Fnatic, well-deserved, especially with Broline, Golden becoming good again as well. And Crims, sticking to his, he's being very, very consistent. Probably the main players that are struggling is JW and Flusher. And, that's only the main guys who are struggling at the moment. But Fnatic, they're incredible at the moment. They are absolutely incredible. Not Flusher, sorry. Yeah, it's Flusher, sorry. Flusher, WW, Crims, Golden, and Broline. And I'm going to say, even without the Krieg, Broline's playing extremely well. Like, a lot of players were saying that, Fnatic were going to fall down a hole because they didn't have Kriegs anymore. Broline was, very, very talented with the Kriegs. And it came to a point that if you gave Broline a Krieg, you might as well just kiss your CT. You might as well kiss your T side goodbye. And there's actually a tweet by Don Hatchie, which is like, how to beat Fnatic on their T side, on their CT side. Don't buy Kriegs. You fucked up. You bought Kriegs and stuff like that. Now Broline's completely destroying you. You can't get on the sites and you can't win rounds. And that's probably an accurate depiction of when Broline gets a Krieg, because he just basically denies you everywhere across the map. And yeah, so Fnatic, they beat Astralis, 2-1, and also Na'Vi haven't been playing any games recently. And I think, Na'Vi might get their crown back if they do well on Road to Rio, but I'm not terribly too sure. But at the moment, Astralis, they're not even the bridesmaid anymore. They're the man of the hairy chest at the moment. No one, they're in third at the moment. And I'm going to say Mouse Sports is definitely going to go down, as you guys see here, and Liquid might go down as well, given what's happened online at the moment. And, Liquid and Mouse Sports haven't been performing online at all. Like, they've been getting whacked here and there. So next up, we got Blast Rising. So if you guys don't know, Blast Rising is a new tournament. I won't be casting this, unfortunately, because I got given the times yesterday by one of the other casters who wanted me to come on as a color caster. But the problem is that the games start at midnight my time, and they finish at 6 a.m. my time. And they go on weekdays as well, and I'm not getting paid for it. And he was like, he wanted to double check with me to come on as color cast before he got his mate on, Sire. because he knows that I know a lot of these teams, like in the EU region, and I've casted a lot of these guys. And I'm like, dude, just take your co-caster. Don't worry about me. I can't can't stay up from midnight to 6 a.m. for like a lot of BO1s and stuff like that. And later on, it'll be the finals. We'll go from midnight to 9 a.m. and that would require me to just completely destroy my sleep schedule, and that would completely wreck my full-time job at the same time. So the invites have been revealed. So Harvu, the writers. So here's all the sides. So I did get approached for the English coverage, and it'll be on the Blast TV Twitch channel. It'll be with Canadian and I think Sire as well. I think Sire will be there. So Canadian Sire will be the casters on there, and it's actually a big pickup for him actually to maintain that slot and get that production slot as well. So the teams are Harvu, Movistar Riders, Heretics, Endpoint, Japolino, AGO, Nordovent, Avez, Alternate Attacks, Fate, Apex, Secret, Trick, Saw, Giants, and Salamander. I'm actually surprised that there are a few other teams that should really be on there. The Copenhagen Flames being one of them should really be in there. I'm actually a bit surprised that they're not in there. And they took up teams like Saw and Giants who aren't exactly, they're not exactly up there in those tier 2 to tier 3 teams. And I think they won't be able to compete here as well. I'm also a bit surprised they didn't take, Heroic. Maybe Heroic knocked them back. But, I'm actually kind of surprised, the teams that are not in this invite list as well. And, I'm a bit surprised. But at the same time, I'm very, very impressed. They picked up Harvu. I say who's going to win this tournament. It's going to be a big contest between Japolino, Harvu, Nordovent, and Movistar Riders. And Heretics as well. Heretics have been playing pretty well as well. It was also good to see that Flat Rose team's in here as well. I'm going to say I casted those guys earlier on the week in EU Advance. And, Percy. I think they've found a very, very good team here. Like, they've found a very, very good team here. Team Secret. Because basically Percy's a good fragger. Flat Rose is a good fragger. Synopsy didn't play, but I think Synopsy is not playing for the ESCA to keep the advanced spot, as far as I know, because it's kind of odd that he's not playing in EA Advance. But even with the two players, even with just Percy and Flattery, they completely obliterated the team they were versing. I'm trying to think who they're versing Good Times, which is Tex Inzo, the Copenhagen Flames coach's team, his ex-coach. So, basically, Blast, if you guys don't know, Blast were thinking of making up a tier 2, tier 3 tournament. And I think it's a good move for Blast, because there's a lot of tier 3 to tier 2 tournaments, like Loot Bet, Elisa Invitational now, and a few other tournaments like that, where there's like tier 2 to tier 3 teams there. And Europe is just filled with these tournaments that even smaller orgs can, get the money on these smaller tournaments, and also have their team, constantly being in tournaments, constantly generating money, constantly having exposure to their fans. And, that's what I would like the Australia and the Australian American scenes to have. Because in America, they've only got the E-Fire League and the Mythic League. The Mythic League is not on HLTV, so that's the unfortunate part. G'day, Bear, what's up, man? So that's an unfortunate fact. In Europe, let's just say in Scandinavia, they have a tier 3 or tier 2 tournament, online tournament, practically every month of the year, as well as the normal tournaments like DreamHack and stuff like that. And they have them on HLTV. And it's good to see that Blast has joined in with this as well. And that's what I'm really, really happy with as well. I don't mind, Blast too much, there's also, that soft exclusivity stuff. But I think they're a bit beyond that now. And I think they're actually setting up a very, very good tournament, Blast, other than those BO1s and the cheeky standoff as well. And I think, if Blast's going to do that sort of thing, they're going to be not a serious tournament at the same time. And, they're nailing it here. They want to be more professional than more funny and relaxed, just like, CS Summit, for example, and Flashpoint, for example, where they're more relaxed, more trash talk, and more other content, rather than just the CSGO, compared to, ESL and stuff like that. So, next up, we're going to go to the biggest surprise I've had this week, okay? And dude, I think his Bear told me about it. I think Bear Facade told me about it, about Cassard leaving 100 Thieves, which has actually, caught everyone out of the blue. That Cassard left 100 Thieves, because there seemingly wasn't an issue. It's like most of the players, taking responsibility of playing poorly. And basically, essentially, Cassard, I think you sort of follow Hero. And yeah, Cassard just said, they weren't agreeing with the team, JKS and Azza. He helped turn things around and gain Gratifection and Liaz, which was massive. And yeah, it's just afterwards, he was drifting apart more ways than one for a while, just wasn't happy with the progress, stagnation, he decided to leave. And it wasn't new, okay, it was someone else told me Cassard left, and I was like mid-Mythic Plus. And yeah, so basically, Cassard's left, and yeah, he just didn't feel like he was right to place. And people suspecting that 100 Thieves are getting I'm a Pet. It hasn't been confirmed yet because there hasn't been a news post yet on IHL TV, but they're searching to take EG's coach of I'm a Pet. And in before it's not I'm a Pet, okay? I keep forgetting his name, okay? I keep forgetting his name. But they're going to go after him, the 100 Thieves, and I think they should get him pretty easily. I mean, Nade Shot will immediately go from given what he's done for Evil Geniuses. And it's unfortunately, for Kassar that he decides to leave. And I'm just a bit shocked about it all that Kassar decided to leave. I thought I'm a Pet was going to go to maybe Heroic or another team like that. And I would never thought that, 100 Thieves would just drop their own coach. I was actually thinking of seeing, basically I'm a Pet maybe at Renegades as well. And then Renegades picked up Mifar out of nowhere as well. And, it's kind of crazy in the CSGO world. You just don't know unless you're talking to the players and stuff like that. And you know the players on like a personal basis where, you get the hush-hush information. And, you just don't see, as a person on the outside, you just don't see this happening. You see it when you get it up. And, I wish Kassar the best. He's a very, very critical coach for the 100 Thieves back in the day. And as you see here, basically it's these 5 guys, and Kassar leaves, and everyone on HLTV was actually shocked as well. Now, he did pick up, he did a lot of things. So he picked up Liaz and Gratisfaction. I got to say, probably those 2 players did make 100 Thieves what they are now, given that Liaz has been playing very well in a support position. Even as a clutch as well, he's basically Zipnix, the Australian Zipnix at this stage, with how clutch he is in these horrible situations where he's won like constant 1v3s and 1v4s. And, Gratisfaction being a solid AWPer, as you see here, with Gratisfaction with certain lack of facial hair. Does he have No, he doesn't have the moustache anymore, that's right. They broke the top 5, so he shaved it off. But, they've still got, the AWP players here. But I think JK has and a few others, as is, the oldest player. But, all the other players are starting to hit their stride now as well. And Liaz, I think he's the youngest player on the roster at the moment. Anyways, guys, that took me most by surprise. And now we're going to get more into our Valorant stuff. So if you guys don't know, August has disbanded. And they forfeit the ESL 1 Road to Rio spot. And also at the same time, that there's going to be no replacement teams for NA. So everyone will get a forfeit win, essentially. And basically, FNS just, he basically announced that a few of the players are leaving to Valorant. And I think it's Wardell's not. FNS isn't. I think it's Sub Rosa and PTR, I think, that are leaving, I believe. No, not PTR, Yay, I believe. I think Sub Rosa, Yay, and maybe Infinite are leaving to Valorant. Not 100% too sure on that, but a few players leaving to Valorant, mainly because of the fact they can find an org and get paid. And a lot of these guys in August, because they're, solid, CSGO professionals in the NA scene, it's just August went about 8 to 9 months without an org. And that's like, 8 to 9 months without a paycheck, from an org. Or from, a salary. Like, basically, Wardell's streaming a lot to get his, to pay his bills and stuff like that. So, kind of saw this coming. It's been 8 or 9 months. They secured a minor spot. They played pretty well in Flashpoint. There was rumors of it, because I think Steel made a joke towards one of the players in there that, they were going to Valorant. And, I can understand why they do it, because they want to get salary, they want to get money on the board. It's like when E United bought Soul Patrol. Nobody really blamed the players. They really just blamed the org for being that snaky about it, to take that IM Sydney spot. And because of the fact that, Marquee Food and I forget the third play they took was Marquee Food and... starts with an S, so I can't think of it at the moment. But they took those 3 players purely to get the IM Sydney spot. And, essentially because their roster wasn't performing. With Valorant, my opinions on Valorant, to be honest, is that I don't understand, as I said to Conky and a few others on Twitter, I don't understand how these orgs, and Jason Lake as well, Jason Lake was in the conversation, how orgs are throwing 20k per month to fucking Valorant players when the game's not even fucking out yet. There's like, of course the community tournaments where you win like, 20 to 30k, or maybe, 5, in Australia it's only about $150, but the scene isn't big enough to justify a 20k wage as an org. And I've already seen that Sentinels have already put a team in. Like they've brought one of the few of the Overwatch League players, and they've picked up not Scream, sorry, I'm trying to think of CSGO player they picked up. Shazam and Sick. And I'm gonna say now, Shazam and Sick, Like, they weren't getting into, like, tier 1 or tier 2 teams. I know Shazam leaving, of course, Complexity, Sick as well. I think Sick was also leaving another team. It was Envy. And they're seeing viewer bots on Twitch thinking stonks. Alright, of course with Valorant, there's been a lot of guys botting, keys. When you get a drop associated with something, the viewership of a certain game goes up. It was proven with Tarkov, where Pestily had like 100k viewers at one point, purely because there was drops on the channel for Tarkov. And basically all the players went to the higher level streams, put their bots in, and started farming drops for Tarkov. It's nothing new, and I think a lot of people got to realize that, especially the esports talks who are already sinking money into it, is that you want to let the dust settle before you go in, because what's going to happen is that they're going to pay 20k to their players and stuff like that, and then let's say their contracts go up and they don't offer the 20k again, and then Complexity swoop in, offer like 5 grand and outbeat your bid. Well, not to mention you've just fucking dumped 120k per player for nothing, and then someone else sweeps in. Let's say Jason Lake pays 5k. He sweeps in, pays them only 60. Sorry, not 120k. It's actually a bit more. Sweeps in, pays them about 30k for 6 months, and he's just taking your deal away. And he probably could make bank on it as well, especially if Valorant's out of beta. And then bam, there goes your money. You lost 120k for nothing. And, a bigger org swooped you for even cheaper. And it's only one org that was offering 20k for a player. A lot of the other orgs have been like 5k, 3k, which is kind of normal. And I don't think you can really justify Valorant as normal, given the stage it's in at the moment, where people are still grabbing keys, and people are still being absolute scumlords with the VOD system, if you guys haven't noticed. This is unrelated to CSGO, but Twitch have put a rule in that if you are exploiting drops, you'll be banned as a streamer, and I see people still doing it, and hopefully they'll take action shortly, because I'm not promoting Valorant here at all, but if you want to stream Valorant, good luck getting on the front page, okay? That's what I'm going to say, because there's all these guys playing their VODs, and having drops on 24/7, which is unbelievable. I can't believe it, but anyway, so basically, August haven't won a game at all, and all their games are now forfeited. So the Road to Rio spot is gone. And basically, Wardell and FNS are still playing CSGO. Unknown on Yay and unknown on Infinite, but we know Subrose is going to Valorant. I think Anomaly was doing that. I'll tell you guys who were doing it. Anomaly, On Screen, Fragstube, they were doing it. And have stopped doing it now. I think Fragstube stopped doing it. He stopped doing it right away. He was actually doing it for his community. That's what he said. He said he was doing it for his community. He said he didn't have any bots in there anyway. He had like 600 viewers. And he was doing it for his community to get keys and to play with him. I'm not sure about Anomaly and On Screen. Because I talked to Fragstream about, be careful, man. But that's what he said. He wasn't doing it for the money. He doesn't care about the money. He gets more money from his other roles instead in German esports than he does here. Anyways, next up, we're going to go to this one. This one, my fellow Danes went absolute crazy when this happened, okay? They went absolute crazy, okay? Absolutely crazy. Hunden is now the coach of Heroic. Retires as a player. It's probably seen, everyone saw this coming. He's going to retire. Because his numbers were absolute garbage. Let's just put it that way, okay? I respect Hunden a lot, but his numbers were garbage. His ADR was really bad. His KDR was really bad. His ADR was one of the worst in the tier 2 scene. And I think he knew that as well. That's why he wasn't happy with himself. And that's why, he probably benched himself as well. And, it was just natural that he's going to take an evolution on as a coach. And, he's taking the evolution as a coach. He's coaching Heroic now, which is massive, because I think Cadian will really enjoy that as well. And he's known, to mentor his players as the IGL, in Mad Lions at the time. And he was replaced by Cillian, which I gotta say, it's a pretty good fit as well, because Cillian's a really quality IGL as well. Those who can't teach, well, that's a meme, right? But anyway, so Hunden, he's going to stay with the organization, but he couldn't. Matt didn't want to get rid of Peacemaker. And yeah, so now he's coaching Heroic. So he's got the Danish Nico and Tezes, and he's got Borub, Starvin, and Cadian as well. And yeah, what I didn't know? That Starvin's actually 18. Someone actually told me the other day that Starvin only turned 18. I'm sitting there going really? I thought Starvin was a lot older, given how much composure he has. In those 1v3 and 1v2 clutches he does. Dude, the guy has so much composure. I thought he was early 20s. I thought he was a complete veteran of the game, so I was actually surprised when he was 18. I'm going, dude, he's 18, and his composure, he had veins of ice. It's incredible. So they also got the aimer of Tezes as well. Tezes is definitely a big pickup. He used to play for the Flames, and he's an absolute god aimer. And they picked up the Danish Nico, and the Danish Nico, they'll make him good again, but they won't make him have a 20 times big ego like the FaZe Nico, okay? But FaZe Nico, he deserves that ego at the end of the day. So yeah, so, Hunden has joined Heroic, and it's absolutely massive for him, and congratulations to him as well. Heroic were getting a bit worried on who we're going to get as a coach, given that Renegades took Myth R, which caught me by surprise when Myth R was picked up by Renegades, which we talked about last week. And yeah, I know who I favour the winner of this matchup. Well, I know Heroic are playing today against North. And I gotta say, since North lost to the Flames 2-0, and it was a pretty bad 2-0 to lose, actually. Very bad. I think Heroic are probably gonna win that BO1. That's what I'm gonna say. Now, next one is there's actually no more stories. Why do I have this? These should be gone, but okay. The next one is going to be the review of the Road to Rio so far. So far Group A is played, and the reason how I knew Group A is played is because Jayo, who I've got added on Twitter, basically said that we won our first game very convincingly against Team Unique. And, well, not Team Unique, sorry, against Forze, which is absolutely massive, I'm going to say, in the scheme of things. Namiga beating Forze, an EPL team, very, very imposing and dominant team, and Namiga gets the biggies there. Then Team Spirit took down the Gambit youngsters, kind of expected, to be honest. I know this is old news, but yeah, the NBA, but how is that hell was allowed? I don't have a clue. And I don't like people blaming ESL for it, because someone goes, oh, ESL should do something about this. They run the tournament. I'm going, dude, it's a major, right? They have no say. Valvo has all to say, as people call them, Valvo. Valve have all to say in this. Like, ESL are just, doing the administration. They're not organizing the entire thing. And people are like going, ESL should do something. And then when Valve is like, oh yeah, they're fine, ESL's like, well, we don't want this to happen. Like, you can't have a team where, this is for and MRBR, by the way, which Bear mentioned. You can't have a team where the other team owns the other team. You can't have that. That's like, that's massive conflict of interest. And I don't accept, they can put their conflict interest aside. Like, yeah, bullshit. You got 3 players on the other team. I know it was going to always probably end up 2-0 to MIBR, but there's going to be something like, if can control Destiny, that somehow they're going to be more a bit influenced by the MIBR boys, that they might want to, not win or something like that to make sure MIBR has a good route to, like the quarterfinals or the semifinals, something like that. And they could promote, a weaker team, that could reasonably beat into the NA qualities as well. So another area, we got Team Unique, they lost to Windstrike. I'm actually a bit surprised at Windstrike, only 7 rounds. Only 7 rounds. Yeah, that's right. Ibo Power had the exact same situation where the other team, Ibo Power owned the other team. That's right. And that's how Shazam knew about the game that was going to be thrown. Because they were communicated to by the coaches. But yeah, so far it's only 1 round being played so far. Group B will play tonight. So Prosto, Virtus Pro, Navi, all these guys will play tonight. So we're going to go to the NA section. So far Group A's, they've finalised Group A so far, as Triumph and August obviously have been eliminated. And it's going to be between really Gen G, Cloud9, 100 Thieves, and Evil Geniuses today. And it's going to be like, the final games today, last group matches. And I suspect you just put 100 Thieves, they're in already. And I think Gen G or Cloud9 will be the other winners, and Evil Geniuses will be eliminated. Now for Group B, they will finish up, I don't think they'll finish up tonight, as far as I know. Let's see, will they finish it up tonight? No, they finish it up tomorrow. But I don't see, actually no, May 2nd, they'll finish up tomorrow as well, actually. I don't see, or Bad News Bears making it. And I'm surprised they haven't got the elimination tag already, because they should be eliminated, because there's no way they can't be eliminated, unless, I think maybe there's like, a, chance of a chance, effectively, because they got a good head-to-head. But, Bad News Bears, getting pretty much eliminated. Then it's between these 4 teams here. And I think Liquid, they haven't been performing well online, but I don't think Envy, Envy have got 2-1, and I think Envy have beaten a few teams in the lower bracket, and I think they've, beaten Liquid as well. I don't think Envy is going to be up here. I think Envy will be in the drop. MIBR will be third. Team Liquid will be second, and Fury will be number one. That's my idea. So in the South American division, they're all finished now. Boom, taking out the spoils, winning 2-0 against Isurus. And they take out the South American Road to Rio, so they probably get the higher rating as well. And they probably get the extra points, 200 Pro Tour points as well. Imagine the Bio Liquid is if they don't qualify. It'd be massive, actually. It'd be massive. Considering, if Envy qualify, that means one of the big teams, not Evil Geniuses, one of the big teams aren't qualifying, Liquid, MRBR, Furia, which would be a massive, massive surprise. Now, lastly, he goes to ESL MDL. We go to week 1. So week 1's been very, very interesting in the AU MDL. First one was the first match was the most craziest match, which was Rooster v really weird, and Rooster were up 10-5, and they lost 16-11, losing 11-1 in their CT side. And dude, really weird, just literally flipped the script halfway through that game, and just basically won it on their own back. Now Chiefs beat Mako, and then Chiefs beat Order. The Order's first game on Vertigo, and Order wins 16-7, a massive game there as well. And Order also kept going along, defeated Bance as well. There's also another game I cast as well, Avert v Forbidden. And that was actually an exceptionally close game until Avert, they won I think they won 7 rounds v1 to win 16-9, 16-10. And this game was exceptionally close. It was actually 9-9 at one point between Overt and Forbidden. It was actually 9-9. And I was actually kind of surprised it didn't end up in OT for both teams, because there was some exceptional players from both teams. And in the end, Zell and Jam, they got together. Jam especially grabbing a lot of entries. In fact, I think one round he grabbed 2 players. He took down Rain with a spectacular one tap, and he took down the Trader with a decent spray down as well, like a really, really good spray down from short. And the one tap, I couldn't find the highlight of it, but the one tap was amazing. So what happened is he just peeks out short, one taps towards a player at long, and basically bam, the player at long, wide peak, gets just one tapped. Like he's got it's only like half a head, and he just nails the shot, which was massive, absolutely massive. Now next one we had the 419 v Bance, and Bance winning their first game. If you guys don't know who Bance are, Bance is basically Rolfco and Co. And Rolfco, James, if you guys know him, and it's his team, Falcon, and a few others are in there as well. And they took down the 419 16-6. And the 419 aren't having a great time at the moment. I think the 419 are potentially looking at relegation, in my opinion. So then we had Avant v Ground Zero, another big game, and Avant expectedly easily winning. Then we have the game that betters Rage Chat, which was the Truckers v ESA Open. If you guys don't know, Truckers are ex-Airborne, and everyone was expecting the Truckers to win. And the ESA Open guys, they came out to a start with 8-1 lead on their CT side. And the pain just kept pummeling on in the end. ESA Open won the half 11-4. Then they won the Pistols, and it was pretty much all over Red Rover. The Truckers of Attitude, though, they staged a bit of a comeback. But, dude, when you're 14-8 down, and ESA Open on the T side, yeah, you're not going to be holding that very long, okay? You're not going to be holding that very long at all. And, of course, they'll just exceptionally, even though I said sexually like twice, exceptionally swept aside, basically, by ESA Open. So Incept took care of Fury, and I'm actually really, really happy, really, really impressed by that. They added Zeph to their roster, which is from Ground Zero, an incredibly good player. And, yeah, I'm happy with this. Happy that Incept started off on a good stead, taking down Fury. Last season, this matchup went Fury's way, and the main reason why Incepts were in relegation in the first place because of Fury winning the head-to-head. Now, then it was Ground Zero v Rooster, and Rooster narrowly took this one out. And the moment I knew that Rooster won the game was when Rooster made that tweet about Ground Zero now looking for B players. And I'm like sitting there going, ooh, yeah, I know the Roosters have won. I know the Roosters have won that. And the Roosters have been, actively, throwing a bit of shade to Ground Zero for ages, because Roosters and Ground Zero have got a bit of a rivalry between those two teams, because Ground Zero and Roosters always play BO3s against each other. And it used to be back in the old days that the Ground Zero roster, you always outclassed the Roosters. But now the shoe's on the other foot, where the Roosters are winning a few games here and there between this little rivalry between themselves and Ground Zero. Next one was Paradox v Fury. So it was Vers's debut game for Paradox, and they took down Fury 16-12. I do like the Fury roster at the moment, even though Fury have lost, 2 games already. They're making these close against these teams with some great, talent in it as well. So the other game which I cast was the Truckers v the 419. The Truckers were relentless, like absolutely relentless. Dump Truck especially, absolutely relentless. Dump Truck, Tonka Truck, they were just actually making, and Long Haul as well, as we called them, those trucks. And I don't know the names for these players yet, okay? They have not told me. They've kept me in mysterious silence and have not given me a list of their names, okay? They've not given me a list at all of their names, okay? They expect me to call them their truck name, okay? So one of them's called like the Long Hauler, Big Truck, Tonka Truck, Dump Truck, and Dump Truck's the guy that BMs a lot. Like basically when he gets a kill and sends it around, he sprays his entire clip into the corpse. And then the last game was Avert v Avant, and Avert, well, they got put to the sword early. They lost 11-4 on their T side, and then basically afterwards, Avant won the pistols, and Avert, they can only muster one extra round after that, and it's got completely pushed aside. Meanwhile, in the European scene, as you guys may have known, I've been casting any EU MDL, and that's because it's all been ESA TV. So the first setup was good old Endpoint taking down the Unicorns. Completely expected. You know, when Endpoint doesn't have so much pressure on them, they win games. And it's becoming a problem with Unicorns of Love again, because Unicorns of Love had this issue as well, where they lost all their early games in really bad fashion. And losing to Endpoint 16-6 is probably one of those games losing in bad fashion. Namika are now 2-0 in the MDL. They're off to a good start as well. And Endpoint losing to Skade as well. So Spellen's boys must be really happy with that, the Bulgarians. There's actually 2 Bulgarian teams, if you guys don't know, in the MDL this season, being Skade and Fate Esports. So that was an interesting little tidbit that I noticed that Skade and Fate, both were promoted. So Unicorns defeated Pact, and this is the first time, I'm going to say now with Pact, where they've lost the opening game. So this is a good start for Pact, and the alternate attacks disposed of Demolition Crew and Fate. And that's good to see the advanced champions coming into the MDL, get a quick 2-0 on the board. Now we're going to get to the NA MDL, where more games have been played. That's what we're going to say. More games have been played this time. Do you not use an ad blocking section? No, I do not. I do not have ad block, okay? I have CBA, but I should get an ad block extension, okay? Because these ads are becoming more memeier as they come along, okay? So here we go. So Big Frames, they lost to Alcoholics Anonymous. If you guys don't know, Alcoholics Anonymous got promoted because one of the teams died in MDL. And I'm trying to think which team it was that died in MDL that allowed Alcoholics Anonymous in, because they were the highest ranked team. So the Whalers took care of Mythic, the Warriors took care of the Rugrats, the Monstars, now called Morning Light, were taken care of by Infinity. And that's a really, really bad loss, given that Infinity were really struggling towards the end of last season. Buff Daddy's PayPal team, the advanced champions, were cleaned up by Mythic. But I gotta say, Buff Daddy's PayPal team, a lot of their players have not been practicing CSGO. They've all been playing Valorant, as you can see from Witness Twitter and a few other players' Twitter as well. Rugrats took care of Polar Ace. District 7 lost to the Kansas City unit. Keep the comms up. Good old keeps the comms up. Recon 5 win their first game against Infinity, and Buff Daddies, they struggle to get a win on the board, losing to Polar Ace 28-26. So Polar Ace won their second game, beating the Warriors. 21. Well, if you want to know now, under 21 have lost all their stars to other teams, and Big Frames took care of them 16-7. And also, this is Morning Light. This is I think this is Monstars basically. Way to frag. Radio French takes down Morning Light, and the Swedish Canadians took down Morning. What do you think? Truckers is basically ex-Airborne, if you know that roster. Yeah, I do know Puff and stuff. But what I'm talking about, like I know it's like Swede, JD, Smooth Criminal, and all that stuff. But I don't know which players are which, okay? Which trucks are which, okay? And Brace as well. And, they don't tell me which truck is which. But I know who Smooth Criminal is, okay? This gonna be like a Cluedo game. We have to figure out which truck is who. But, they played pretty poorly against ESC Open, but I think ESC Open played a bit better. Like, I gotta say, when I looked at the stats later, I was actually kind of surprised that BZ got a 30k. Like, I wasn't paying attention to the scoreboard. I was playing, to the vibe of the game. You know how you get the vibe of the game, who's dominating, who isn't, who's really posing the control. And I really didn't notice BZ in posing control, but, I took a second look at it, and you see him, getting those opening picks. He wasn't doing the, I can 10v1, 1v10 people with, 2 AK2 taps, and, throwing a flashbang under his legs, and, doing, like, all the fancy kills. He was just getting the opening picks and getting the entries, and this fact, all at the same time, he was also stopping the aggression as well. And that's how he got his 30 bomb, was basically, the basics, stopping them from executing, denying the executes. Dump Truck is JD, Tonka is PZ. Yeah, I thought PZ was Tonka because he kept AWPing. So I'm going, that has to be PZ. And Dump Truck is JD. Okay, we're gonna figure out all the trucks, okay? JD was being a lot BM. He was actually sticking to his dump truck role. I'm going to say that much. He was like literally dumping on the players. And I'm going to say that's going to be it for the CSGO section for today. There's a few things I want to discuss about the CSGO section as well. There's a lot of upcoming tournaments as well. I did apply to be casting for all of them. With Blast, it's a no-go. With the parry match stuff from Starladder isn't happening as far as I know. So that's another tournament I applied for. And I got offered to colorcast Blast Rising by a Canadian. And I had to decline that role because it was an awful time for me. It was at midnight my time. And Canadian's going to probably take another guy in there. And he probably should, given that, he wants to give someone a good time zone. I told him if he was offering me the Elisa Invitational, which is basically from when I get home to 1 a.m., I'll definitely take that up in a heartbeat. But unfortunately, he didn't offer me Elisa, as Elisa took the Blast players, actually took Snods and Jackie, who I've never seen cast MDL, but that's kind of interesting. I've never seen them cast, but I know they're casters from somewhere because I've heard them cast before, and it's just kind of out there. Like I thought it would be around our little circle in the ESL, ESCA kind of thing, because we do cast these teams on a regular basis. And what other tournaments is there? There's DreamHack Spring Series, DreamHack Master Spring Series. I'm probably not going to be casted for that. I think they're going to stick with their usual casters. Even though I'll probably meet Mark at DreamHack Winter, likely. Meet Mark, the head of DreamHack. I'll meet him and introduce myself. I don't think they're going to put me onto a caster that right away, given that I've not casted at a LAN. But I've casted an online tour, but I've not casted at a LAN, so I don't think that will happen. ESCA I'll still cast that, the MDL will still cast that. I've actually casted more Australian games than Europe games this season, which is going to be the more likely case, given that ESA TV has been well organised. And also, if you guys don't know, with ESCA, they've changed their rescheduling around. That basically, your games, when you schedule them, you're more fixated to that, and the reschedule has to be different. Because they were talking about it. They're talking about how teams kept rescheduling games outside Tuesday to Thursday, and that ESA TV barely got any time. Like, if you noticed last season in Europe and Australia, or actually, especially Europe, where there was very few ESA TV games. In fact, there was, if you think about it, there was no ESA TV games in those tournaments, even though it was 4 weeks. There was no ESA TV games. In fact, I actually casted, I think I counted it, I casted, 3 times more than ESA TV casted on EU, and that was just my EU hours. Didn't include my Australian or NA hours, just my EU hours. And I'd casted 3 times more than ESA TV. Okay, just think of that. When your main stream and your main set of casters that you want to use, and they're being outstreamed in time-wise by one of the partners, okay, not one of the other casters that just associates. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing for ESA or anything like that. I'm just putting it that way from a business point of view. You got your top tier casters, that you look to, not casting that much, and you might be paying them. I'm not sure if they're paying them or not, but that's what you want to put more of them on. Like, you don't want to have your cast, like say JTR, Darth, Mike, and stuff like that, who are your definitely go-to casters, who are definitely of course the more professional, the more better casters and stuff like that you look to, who know more about the teams, who started a craft daily and stuff like that. You want them more to be more on on the screen and doing more casting than they are at the moment. I'm not blaming any of the casters. I'm not blaming the org, just in case you guys are wondering. I'm not blaming anyone like that. I'm just stating straight facts, just in case you guys are wondering. These are straight facts about, looking from a business point of view. So, ESA TV, they've made it that, they've got to really commit to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I think they've got to play for exceptional circumstances if they want to do it outside that time slot. Because ESA TV needs games. And ESA TV are going to say they're probably going to have a lot more games this season. And it's probably going to be a lot less games for partners. But, at the end of the day, they're giving us something that we wouldn't have, okay? Like, MDL. Like, to be honest with ESCA. Like, even though, I can disagree with it until I turn purple in the face. But, at the end of the day, ESA, they run the show. And it's, not all about me. And, it's good to just get some games here and there. Which I'm happy about. I was honestly spoiled for choice last time. As you guys may have noticed, because I casted, I think it was no, it was 8,900 something minutes of CSGO in the ESL. And, of course, that really can't continue where you have your orgs, your other partner casters who are casting a lot more CSGO rather than your showpiece, whatever it is, your vanguard, basically, of epic casters. And, hopefully maybe I'll get into the ESA cast one day, but we'll never know, maybe. Next biggest caster coming up as well. Got a good feed as well. Clips of feed, I've been getting the clips from HLTV and putting them together for my caster reel for next biggest caster. Anyways, guys, that'll be it for the chill time for the CSGO section. We're getting onto the gaming review section shortly, and you guys got to stick around for the gaming review section for YouTube and Twitch users as well, because we're going to be discussing about puzzle games. So we're going to be discussing Portal 1 and Portal 2, which everyone should have on their Steam already, and then Braid, and then The Witness. And, hope to see you guys in a few minutes. Guys on Twitch, I'll still be on, just in case you guys are wondering. And hope you guys have a wonderful day, guys on YouTube. If you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe below. If you want to, subscribe or follow my Twitch channel, please do so. And you can see these little shows live. Anyways, guys, YouTube viewers, you'll be out for now. You can go to my next VOD right away. And I'll see you guys in the next few seconds.